Hello, this is Targor. Welcome to my vision of World of Warcraft Classic Plus. The design direction of my vision of Classic Plus is substantially different from that of retail WoW for Shadowlands and private servers, Vanilla Plus, and Turtle WoW. This is partially because it aims to fix Vanilla WoW's many problems first, and flesh out and polish it second, and add new content third. This is part of a playlist of videos. Check out this video's description for a link to the playlist. The document displayed is my vision of World of Warcraft Classic Plus, and the document's version number is 1.5.15. All versions of this document are based on patch 1.12.2 of World of Warcraft. If you just want to know about the general design direction of my vision of Classic Plus before you otherwise look into this, then watch the introductory video in this playlist, or read the document yourself and look at the list of major features. The link to the document is in my channel's About page. That, and I do not have a team of people, however, working with me to make an actual private server out of this. This is all pure design thus far, and it ain't done yet. These display changes made to the Onyxia's Lair and Ahn'Qiraj do not concern what drops from those places, nor changes its NPC hit points, NPC damage, or NPC pathfinding. These are covered in different parts of this document that I will be covering in the different videos. However, it is still worth briefly mentioning the elite NPCs in general, and not just in raids. Hold on. Okay, that's better. They're going to hit a lot harder and have a lot more hit points. So your tanks that are not druids are going to need to actually use shields, or else they will get randomly one-shotted from full hit points by critical strike through defensive best in slot forever gear with full world buffs and full consumables, including a hit point flask. By the way, world buffs are going to be massively nerfed, and you won't need the non-portable buffs, world buffs for raids, just the portable ones. You will need flasks for raids. Anyway, that, and as I mentioned in the video for general dungeon raid changes, I plan to eventually revamp all the raid bosses in whichever raid boss to generally have different mechanics. Now then, on to the actual changes to these three raids. First off, the reset timer of Onyxia's Lair will be extended to 7 days to make it easier on the schedules of raiding guilds, and marginally decrease the power gap for a short time between casual and hardcore 60s. Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj changes. Elite enemies in the Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj, now being 40-man raid mobs, will generally be immune to all forms of crowd control. Exceptions may be made if necessary, though I have yet to look into this. In the video for general dungeons and raid changes, I mentioned that Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj is getting turned into a 40-man. So yeah. Silicon Feeders will no longer drop loot or reward players with an aeronaut circle reputation upon death in order to get rid of a source of non-competitive income. Mining a large or small obsidian chunk will get you saved to the raid, and all of them will be found near elite trash mobs, which will greatly increase the value of large and small obsidian shards. Ubisoft mobs will be replaced with faceless ones to cut down on mythological references that demand a thematic explanation for their existence and nomenclature. For example, what the hell is Anubis? Their new abilities are to be determined, and if I recall correctly, Loading Sphere 2 might have to be changed accordingly. Assyrion the Unscarred will be replaced with a boss faceless one. His new abilities are to be determined, but the fight will generally play out the same way as before. Actually, I'm going to leave that part out. Yeah, his new abilities are to be determined. Temple of Ahn'Qiraj changes. The 40-man. The one that already was a 40-man. The Temple of Ahn'Qiraj will require having room for 2 raid lockouts before you can enter it, and being saved to this raid will prevent you from being saved to all other 40-man raids that are not in Onyxia's Lair for 1 week. Due to that, the Temple of Ahn'Qiraj affords about twice as much loot per clear as other 40-man raids do. And do also note that the Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj affords a lot of loot per boss because it only has 6 fucking bosses. That's so that you don't just never do the Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj because of how much loot it offers per reset. Anyway, Ubisoft models will be replaced. I already mentioned that. The Burning Crusade models will be used for the Twin Emperors with the shoulder pads. I think it makes them look cooler. Lord Kree of the Bug Trio will be given an ability that breaks the opponent's shield outright, that is, reduces its durability to 0, if the opponent is wearing a shield. He'll use this every 10 to 20 seconds, forcing raids to bring a bear druid if they want to kill the bug trio. All faceless defenders, formerly Anubis defenders, will be given an ability that breaks the opponent's shield if the opponent is wearing a shield. They'll use this much more often than Lord Kree does, forcing raids to bring a bear druid to the raid. This will not prevent the faceless defender from having any one of the abilities of the 4 sets abilities that they're randomly given. So each faceless defender will always have one more ability than they did in vanilla, that extra ability being the shield breaking ability. The Prophet Skiram and his illusory images will lose all of their raid marks when he splits her, however. Stuff like fucking circle, triangle, square, etc. Shit like that, and skull. The Bug Holly will, if necessary, be changed so that clearing it is possible with the AoE change that cause most AoEs to only target up to 6 targets per hit, per spellcaster tick, a la Thunderclap, Whirlwind, and Warstop. More on this in section number 7.0.2, General Class Changes. 4 dragons at a time will directly help the raid to clear the raid. Each dragon will only be replaced once per lockout if they die, and it'll all heal to full shortly after combat ends. And if it looks like the raid is going to wipe, that is, 20 or less living players are remaining, then the dragons will leave until the raid comes back. And if it doesn't look like the raid is going to wipe, then the dragons will fight to the death. Said dragons will buff people, heal people, and deal a lot of damage. And all of their threat generation will be passively reduced by 90% of what it would normally be. And it will take 24 consecutive hours for a dragon to be replaced after dying. Said 24 hours do not begin until after the relevant combat state ends for the raid. Said dragons will only help the raid if asked to, and each can be asked at will to step out when they and the raid are not in combat. The entire raid will be designed around requiring having 4 dragons helping you at the same time when the raid is in pre-raid peasants like here, barring epics. All the enemies in the raid that are not level Skull will be level 63 because this is the dungeon where this is the raid where you're fighting a fucking god, and an old god at that. So it's good. So it has to be fucking hard. Or at least feel hard. Anyway, when the first enemy is slain, a 12-hour timer will begin. Failure to kill Princess Huhuran within that time will result in the entire raid being flooded with trash mobs, making it be basically impossible to clear the rest of the raid that week. Excuse me, that reset. Week, where the hell does it say week here? Reset, okay. Wait. Also says reset instead of week there, okay, good. Yeah, then it'll be basically impossible to clear the rest of the raid that reset. And before that, when the first enemy is slain, Wait, I already said that. If Princess Huhuran is dead, and then you kill an enemy that comes after Princess Huhuran, another 12-hour timer will begin. Failing to slay Cthulhu within that time will result in the entire raid being flooded with trash mobs, making it be basically impossible to clear the rest of the raid that reset. Also, the optional bosses are still going to be optional. This includes the rare spawn bosses that I mentioned in the general dungeon raid changes video. As I said, for the Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj changes, mining a larger mobs within chunk will get you saves to the raid, and all be found near elite trash mobs. It'll greatly increase the value of large and small obsidian charts. That's all the changes they got to make to those 3 raids thus far. Thanks for watching.